be a brand new radio voice to the New York Yankees. A really good voice, but it's going to be a little strange at first.
You are Locked On MLB, your daily MLB podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all of Major League Baseball. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully. You can follow us on Twitter or whatever it's called now at Locked On MLB Pods. Same handle for Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, at least for now. And Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. And hey, if you're going over that blue sky place, I'm at Sully Baseball there. I'm a little bit everywhere right now. And Daryl Burry of Sports Highlights says, yo, right back at you. Hey, today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. It is, we're dropping this on a late Thursday, early Friday, depending where you are on the planet Earth. A couple of corrections I got to have. I said the other day that Hurricane Milton happened in mid-August. Obviously, I was just talking quickly and I made a mistake. Franklin Allen 8566 said mid-August. Obviously, I meant mid-October. I'm aware of that. I sometimes talk fast. And remember, I was on steroids. So that was a mistake that I made. Won't be the last. And there was one other thing that I said the other day that was William Revelry 366 pointed out that Buster Posey is the president of baseball ops. I think I said that he was the general manager. He's the dude making the trades. Whether it is whether that's the general manager or where I'm fine. Whatever fun title he has, there you go. And a couple of people have took objection to the episode that I did when I was saying that Shohei Ohtani had a couple of mountains to climb. Some people asked, what have I achieved? Clearly, in terms of Major League Baseball, I've achieved far less than Shohei Ohtani. I just was saying in terms of his legend, his narrative. If he doesn't achieve the last couple of things I said, I don't think anyone's going to call him a bum. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying those are he's won the individual award. He's won a World Series ring. So what other things are left from to climb? It's just that's all it is. Those couple like Miri Kaku 5811 was complaining about me doing that episode. Hey, buddy, I got to do episodes for November, December, January, February, and half of March where there are no damn games being played. So, I'm picking stuff up. Hey, quick thing. If put here in the the YouTube comment section, whatever your favorite team is, tell me what you think the greatest home run was in that team's history. And because I'm doing an off-season project, I'm doing the 3 greatest home runs for every franchise in baseball. And I'm going to tell you something. There's a couple of times I'm going to have to combine a couple of home runs just to make it clear. For example, I would put the Carlton Fisk home run for the Red Sox, but you also have to include the Bernie Carbo home run in that same game. Those two work together. Bill Mazeroski's home run needed the Hal Smith home run to set it up. Okay. The Derek Jeter home run in the 2001 World Series needed the Tino Martinez home run to tie the game. They're linked. If you're a Ranger fan, the Corey Seager, when the Rangers won the World Series on the walk-off home run in Game 1, they needed it was Corey Seager's game-tying home run in Game 1 that, of course, set up the walk-off home run by Adolis Garcia. So they'll be linked. So whatever your favorite team is, put it down there. Well, there's a bit of baseball news, and it's an interesting piece of baseball news. Dave Sims is a fantastic radio broadcaster, and he has been the announcer for the Seattle Mariners for several years. And Dave Sims has joined the WFAN radio broadcast booth, and for that he is essentially replacing John Sterling. He's been uh, he's been with the Mariners since 2000, the mid 2000s, and so years and years of calling games for the Seattle Mariners, including the great Cal Raleigh home run. And he is now joining the Yankee booth, which is obviously a highly coveted job. It's a high profile job. And John Sterling is, he's in his mid 80s, and it was clear that it was, he left because he's a man in his mid 80s. Suzyn Waldman has been teamed with John Sterling pretty much since what? Since around 2000, I think 2004 was the first time they were together. Either 2004 or 2005. I don't 100% remember right now. But Sterling didn't call many games this year. He left at one point very early in the season, and some other announcers filled in capably. But Dave Sims who has a home in New York and his connections to New York, is going to be there, and at least for the next bunch of years. And we're going to see how he clicks with Suzyn Waldman. And because it's a Rubik's cube, putting together the combination of two people in the booth, sometimes you could get two very talented people in the booth and it doesn't quite work. And sometimes you have unlikely people working together. And Dave Sims is a skilled broadcaster, but I've heard times when you've had a skilled broadcaster with another skilled broadcaster and it doesn't quite work. When Charlie Steiner and John Sterling were a match, I didn't think it quite worked. And Charlie Steiner went to Los Angeles and he was terrific. Now, I want to say this. I think Dave Sims is a fabulous announcer. He is. And I think he should do fine. I feel badly for Justin Shackle and Ricky Ricardo, who are two younger announcers. Ricky Ricardo was the Spanish language, or is the Spanish language announcer for the Yankees, and he was paired with Suzyn Waldman for a big chunk of the year. And Justin Shackle came in God, he's younger than I am, but he did many games this year after John Sterling left. And they both did a fabulous job. They both were really good and very different and worked well with Suzyn Waldman. And I think that's a bit crummy when you have you bring a young person on, they think this is their great big moment. They think this is their Vin Scully being paired with Red Barber moment. And then the rug gets pulled and they bring in the veteran from across the country. Justin Shackle, who has been who's a talented announcer, will become the play-by-play guy for some major league team and probably eventually come back to the Yankees. But and Ricky Ricardo's got a great set of pipes. Worked very well. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see how that will connect, how those announcers will connect, because being an announcer, especially in baseball, maybe more than any other sport, has a unique relationship with the fans. And even announcers that you may not be that crazy about, they have a vital function. And I can't claim to always be the biggest John Sterling fan in the world. But when he came back and announced the playoffs and World Series, I have to admit, I got a little tiny bit emotional because I felt like he deserved to be there. And we are going to lose that. And you can talk all you want about how you don't like this or you don't like that about him as an announcer, but he served a very important role that Dave Sims will have to hold on, and it's worth talking about. The World Series, Super Bowl, the Olympics, the world's top athletes get to play these top-level sporting events thanks to one thing: teamwork. And teamwork can also protect your financial legacy and your family's future. SelectQuote's licensed insurance agents are the perfect teammates when shopping for customized, affordable life insurance. They can find you the right policy to keep your financial legacy safely in your family's end zone. SelectQuote is one of America's leading insurance broker with nearly 40 years of experience, helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985. Other life insurance brokers offer impersonal, one-size-fits-all policies that may cost you more and cover you less, while SelectQuote's licensed insurance agents work for you to tailor a life insurance policy for your individual needs in as little as 15 minutes. You can invest so much time to take care of yourself to be the healthiest, best version of you. SelectQuote's exclusive policies can reward that effort. If you're in good health, they work with carriers that could get you the same day coverage for up to $5 million with no medical exam required. And these policies are more affordable than you think. You can get coverage for up to $1 million for as few as $20 per month. So head to selectquote.com and a licensed insurance agent will call you right away with the right policy for your life and your budget. SelectQuote, they shop, you save. Get the right life insurance policy for you for less at selectquote.com/locked-on. Go to selectquote.com/locked-on today to get started. That's selectquote.com/locked-on. All right. I've talked about this before, but it's worth bringing up. The Major League Baseball announcer is your friend, and Dave Sims has to be the friend to Yankee Nation. You people who didn't like John Sterling, and I many times was that person, I lit up when I heard that he was announced in the postseason because it was like a friend came back. And sometimes you have to have a friend taken away before you can really understand the qualities of the announcer. They're the person who's going to be with you along the way for the season. A baseball season is a different animal than a football season. You don't get to listen to football announcers every single week. Most of the time, unless you listen to the game on the radio, you're listening to national announcers in football, and it's a once-a-week thing. It's like a party. That's not a baseball season. A baseball season is there for you every single day. Hockey and basketball announcers are a little bit closer to that, but the action in hockey and basketball are nonstop, especially in hockey where you have to constantly bark out the names of Czech and Swedish and Russian and French Canadian names as they go shift after shift. Baseball is leisurely. It's there for you. The rhythm is there, and you need to have the narrator, the friend that you're sitting down watching the game with. And I said before, John Sterling and Suzyn Waldman many times are like watching the game with your kooky aunt and uncle. We're going to lose a lot of people. We're going to lose a lot of familiar voices. Sterling's gone from the Yankees. Dave Sims, no doubt, is going to do a fabulous job, but you hope that they could have that connection because it was very clear that Waldman and Sterling genuinely liked each other. And you don't like to see something be forced. Now, Joe Castiglione, who worked with all different types of Red Sox announcers over the years, was the Red Sox announcer starting when I was 11 years old. I'm 52. And he was there when Yastrzemski played there all the way to Rafi Devers. And that constant for all those years. In the era of division play, there was only 1 year the Red Sox went to the postseason without Joe Castiglione as one of the announcers. That was 1975. And I know memory 75. So every playoff team in my lifetime of the Red Sox have had Joe Castiglione. Can you believe it? Now, they'll fill it in with other good people, the Dave O'Briens of the world and the Lou Merlonis. They'll do great. They'll do fantastic. But it's tough when you lose the person who is the friend that you watch the game with. A lot of people said bad things about Bob Costas, but you know what? Bob Costas is a great baseball mind, and we're going to miss that voice. I've always been a big fan of his. I'm an unapologetic Bob Costas fan, and I'm going to miss his voice. I'm going to miss his pontification and his humor and his sarcasm and evolving from a young Jimmy Olsen type to a crotchety Perry White type before our eyes. And his eye blew up one time. Maybe that's part of what I'm doing here. I'm trying to be your friend in the off season. But a baseball announcer, the narrator of the action, I actually found myself to a degree missing Joe Buck. But I will say, Joe Davis, the new announcer who does the play-by-play of the World Series, the first Fox World Series play-by-play announcer not named Joe Buck since they started doing it in the mid-1990s. Having a new voice narrate it, I think, is pretty cool. That was my main objection to Joe Buck, was that he announced it year in and year out. Every single World Series between 2000 and 2022 was announced by Buck. He kind of was the voice of the champion of the title, but I like a little variety. Either way, big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill for Dave Sims. More than capable announcer to do it. But the job of being a friend. He was a friend to a lot of fans in the Pacific Northwest. Now, let's see if he can do it for the Yankees. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the National Football League all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 of bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Couple quick hits here before we call it a night. Looks like Tampa Bay is going to be playing in George Steinbrenner Field. What a mess this is. And by the way, this is a mess that obviously you don't blame the Rays. You can't blame Major League Baseball for. This is a hurricane peeled the top of a Tropicana field like it was a can of sardines. And you may not know this, but Tropicana field was not designed to be filled with water. And I mentioned this the other day. The idea of spending 50 million tomatoes to repair a stadium that you'll just total in a couple of years makes no sense. So that means you're going to have the Tampa Bay Rays playing in minor league ballparks in Florida, while you also have the Oakland A's playing in Sacramento. Now, that's a self-inflicted wound. And we've talked about it. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. The idea that they're doing that is completely the fault of John Fisher. It's nobody's fault. But here's one thing I want to put a kibosh on right now, and I've seen more than one person write this. Say, hey, maybe the fact that the A's, I've seen more than one article with this, more than one tweet or whatever, saying maybe Major League Baseball can use this time to test out other potential expansion markets, like have the A's play in Portland, or with the Rays play in Nashville, or test out Orlando, or test out San Antonio, or test out New Orleans, or test out Charlotte, or whatever. Stop. That's, first of all, it isn't going to work like that. This is not the bingo long traveling all-stars. You're not going to barnstorm a Major League Baseball team. Good luck signing any free agent to a team like that. But also, I witnessed what it was like for A's fans to have their franchise taken away from them in the East Bay. All right? I have way too much respect for Tampa Bay fans. Way too much respect for Tampa Bay fans to just cavalierly say, we'll just take them, just do an audition and take the team away from them. That's insane. And it won't work. You're not going to get any metric of what it's like to have a team in Nashville if it's not their team playing in a minor league stadium. You can do Barnstorm where you're going to have a big bus that says the Traveling Rays, the Traveling A's. Yes, it stinks they're both going to play in minor league ballparks. And yes, it's the A's fault that they're in the position they're in, but this is the Rays' fault. And there's just a lot of places to play in Florida. Now, it's going to be a disaster. They're playing in a minor league park. It's going to rain a lot. There's going to be a lot of doubleheaders. It's going to be hot as hell. But this is what you're going to have to do. They didn't come up with a stadium solution. It's no one's fault. It's not like they forgot to lock up the roof. It's not like they left it open. It just got peeled off. There's no reason. I find no reason to repair it. What are you going to repair it for 1 year? And I have said building the stadium next to it is beyond stupid because the location, I've been told my whole life, the location, I'm on steroids, was the problem. But if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. At least unlike Oakland, they have a plan. So it's probably going to be 3 years of the Rays wandering around Florida. And it's going to be at least 4 years before the A's have a permanent home. So, and baseball can't do any expansion until they solve these two teams. And they've been trying to solve these two teams for decades. And this is the one thing I'll point my finger at both of the franchises. Like, you dragged your feet for literally decades to trying to come up with a solution. And now you're wandering around minor league ballparks. You know what? That's the issue. That's the issue right now. And it's going to be about 3 or 4 years of this. And you know what? Brace for impact. My last thought was there was an award show tonight on Major League Baseball. They announced the first and second MLB, all MLB team. That's nice. It's cute. I'll probably watch the highlights. But what the hell? They had an award show and they didn't hand out the Cy Young Award or MVP or Rookie of the Year or Manager of the Year. They put together an award show and they didn't hand out the awards. I almost got myself a explicit rating. I've worked on shows. I've worked on live shows. Who the hell produced that? We're right now. Tomorrow is the smack dab middle of November. Once we get past that, we are officially in late November. We are counting down until Thanksgiving. And we still haven't announced that Shohei Ohtani's the MVP? The hell is going? You had an award show. You hired producers and writers and guest services and sound engineers, and they lit the stage. Hand out the hardware. Let's get going. Let's get going. And let's get going for me too, because we'll be taking a few days off of the show. We'll be coming back with a vengeance, unless, of course, it's a big signing or something like that. I'm going to be coming back on Monday. So follow us on Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter or whatever it's called now, on Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter. I'm also there at Blue Sky and Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. Welcoming Dave Sims to the New York Yankees broadcast booth and reminding him your job's not just to call games. Your job is to be a daily friend. This has been Locked On MLB. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.